17104, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, touching lives with the power of internet radio.
You really got to do it? 48% of music is bigger than the music. You really got to do it?
Yes, we're really about to do it. Hi, welcome to the all-new Ron Chapel Show. We come to you from Harrisburg, PA. The focus of the Ron Chapel Show is Harrisburg newsmakers, and we also have a street report and also new businesses here in Harrisburg. We also offer community announcements, and we have a Sound Up segment where residents can call in and sound about their concerns as Harrisburg residents. Now let's go straight to our street report with our street reporter, Khaldun Rashid. Good afternoon, Khaldun. Are you there?
All right, good afternoon, and greetings to all of our listening viewers out there, and to you two special people, Mr. Ron Chapel and Pastor Chris Thomas, who make this program possible. And now for the street report. According to the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, the Fine Wine and Good Spirits store, located at 333 Market Street in downtown Harrisburg, will be closing its doors for good at the end of this month, May of 2025. The store's last day of operation will be on Saturday, May 31st, or until all the stocks runs out. The PLCB is citing a decrease in sales as the reason for the closure. Harrisburg Mayor Hon.Williams, who won this month's May primary for re-election for mayor, a second term, announced that she is going to be working on bringing businesses back to downtown, saying, "My excitement is for the residents of the city of Harrisburg. They believe in me, they trust me, and I'm so grateful for the fact that they put me back in." On Saturday, June 14th, Harrisburg will host its first ever Juneteenth parade at 12:30 p.m. at the downtown Capitol Complex. Local businesses, organizations, performers, and residents are invited to march in honor of Black freedom and cultural excellence. The Jewish Film Festival next week on May 29th is bringing in a childhood favorite of all the kids in the city at Bethel Temple on North Front Street. None other than ventriloquist Sherry Lewis and her sassy sock puppet Lamb Chops, followed by 7 screenings at the Midtown Cinema over a 3-day period, the end of May into June 1st. While Open Stage presents the Colored Museum, which runs from May 31st to June 19th, celebrating and interrogating the complexities of Black identity. The Uptown Polyclinic Hospital has been sold. Developers have announced plans to construct housing and retail at this former site of the Polyclinic Hospital. The purpose is to take $45 million, renovate all 3 buildings, and construct 250 to 300 apartment units and retail shops, a gym for residents, a grocery store, coffee shop, and restaurant. The project still must go through the city's approval process before it can officially begin. Finally, the Bird magazine won 22 awards in the 2025 advertising contest, sponsored by the Pennsylvania News Media Association Foundation, including for Best Performance in the sweepstakes category for the 3rd year in a row. And that's going to do it for the Street Report. I'm Khaldun Rashid for the all-new Ron Chapel Show. Until next time, peace and love.
Okay, thank you, Khaldun, for your fine report. Have a great day.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm really kind of surprised to hear. Well, I'm glad to hear that Sherry Lewis is still with us. Sherry Lewis with the sock puppets. I remember her from way back in my childhood. I'm glad she's still around. Okay, Chris Thomas, do you have any community announcements, sir?
Yes, sir, I do. Again, thank you, Ron. Again, our first community announcement does come from the Ron Chapel Show. Again, if you're interested in being a guest, again, if you have product services in the Harrisburg or surrounding areas, and you'd like to share those product services or unique talents with a worldwide audience, again, feel free, reach out to Brother Ron Chapel or us here at The Voice 17104, and we'll potentially get you booked on an up-and-coming broadcast here at The Voice and the Ron Chapel Show. Again, two more announcements here real quick. Again, you're invited to stop by the Civic Club, again, during Art Fest, again, May 24th through May 26th. Again, that's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Over 30 vendors, Brother Ron. Fine art, jewelry, crochet clothing, pottery, photography, fiber art, adult beverages available to purchase, and more. Again, that's going on at 612 North Front Street in Harrisburg, and it's absolutely free to attend. Last but not least comes from another community mover and shaker. Again, bounce back, work out. Again, we could all use that a little bit. Beginner step class, Monday, 6 to 7 p.m. Again, that's brought to you by Evolve. 1500 North 3rd Street, again, free. Start and never stop. Again, that's extreme hip hop. Again, with Trish, again, it's absolutely free, but donations are welcome. And again, Brother Ron, that brings to close our community announcements here during the all-new Ron Chapel Show, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor Chris Thomas. And our telephone system is back up and repaired. And so I want to give you the number right now if you care to call in today. The number is 717-889-7181. 717-889-7181. The regular call-in number is now back in effect. Well, as a lot of you know, we had a very, very important primary election here in Harrisburg on May the 20th for local and also county offices. And a lot of the candidates that you supported, some of them may have won, and congratulations to them. And for those that did not win, some of the candidates that did not win, well, perhaps now just wasn't the time. And we still thank you and applaud you for your courage and for your willingness to step forward to make a difference in our community. We have guests in the studio. Now we have other guests en route, but right now we want to welcome and congratulate a candidate that did win in the May 20th primary. And Chris, before I introduce this candidate, I believe we have a little theme song prepared for him. Okay, folks, so join me as we welcome our candidate, returning city councilman, Mr. Rob Lawson. Good afternoon, Mr. Lawson.
Good afternoon. Thank you. That was great.
Yes, sir.
What an introduction.
Yes, sir. How you doing? And congratulations.
Well, I'm feeling fine. Enjoying just the feeling of finally crossing the line and winning the election. It was a long time coming, right? I've been at work for this for a little while, and just happy that the people of Harrisburg thought that I was worthy to put in the seat, and I don't take it lightly. I look at there's going to be a lot of work that has to happen, and I'm happy to do that work, and I'm happy to talk to the residents of the city and find where their concerns are and get a sense on how they want me to help them build their city in a positive manner.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say to your many supporters who helped push you across the finish line?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Without your support, there was no way I was going to make it across that line. Without the kind words, without the encouragement, without people who have gone out and handed out flyers on my behalf, knocked on doors on my behalf, hosted me at their home, or just talked to a friend in my behalf. Believe me, it humbles me, and I'm really glad that you thought I was worthy to do that, and I really hope to make you proud on this. Thanks a lot, guys. I really do appreciate your help.
Okay, we're all grateful. We're all grateful, and I will just admit you did get my vote too. So I saw my vote among the number in your category for your position. Okay, well, what are some of your plans for this second time around as a city council candidate? I'm sure during the interim you had a chance to see the way things have been going in the city, and is there any changes that you want to help implement during your second term?
Yes. So there are a couple things I want to do. One, the first thing I need to do, probably even before I take office, I had a discussion with I would say our current mayor, because she won again, that we haven't had conversation on how we can work together. So the first thing I want to do is find a way that we can make a bridge between the mayor's office and the office of city council to see how can we work together to improve the city. I'm excited about the idea of uplifting our downtown area. Although we do need to focus on all of our neighborhoods, our downtown is an economic engine that we cannot neglect. So that's something that we have in common, that we both want to make sure that is going to be an area that we focus in, and an area that we help bring in more businesses and more residents and help build that up. I want to find out what her agenda will be going forward so that we can find areas that we can work together and collaborate. And I would happily work with my fellow council members to push that forward. And then, coming from my side of it, I really want to make a serious push on this Dollar House program that we said that we wanted to get going. I want to make sure that we are pushing out some of the properties held by the Redevelopment Authority to our residents, give them the ability to buy them for $1, get them tied in with organizations such as PHFA, NACA, Fulton Bank, and others who will supply financing for the purchase and renovation of those properties. And we have solutions for people regardless of their credit history. And we have solutions that will also be below market rate. So we should be able to create safe, affordable communities by using this program. We should also be able to spur other investment in these neighborhoods that may have been neglected by moving these programs forward. So we're going to have nice, affordable neighborhoods. And when we do that, we're going to see also a reduction in crime because we're going to have people that are staying in areas long term and not blighted areas that look as if they've been forgotten. So I'm really looking forward to make a big push in that area. And then hopefully we'll work on things like trying to lower the taxes that are on the back of our residents here, protect some of our more vulnerable residents, the ones that we don't always think of, but they are whether they're documented, undocumented, or whatever. People are feeling very, very nervous right now with the way that our current U.S. government is moving. I want to make sure that our residents know that they're safe here in Harrisburg. So that's going to be another big push that I'm going to be very vocal about.
Okay, Chris Thomas, you had a question or comment for Mr. Lawson?
Sure. First and foremost,
Councilman Lawson, I'm
Sure.
sorry.
First and foremost, I want to say congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
I don't want to toot our own horn, but you did have one of our votes as well. We're so very excited that those single votes added up to help you cross the threshold. So congratulations, much needed in the city of Harrisburg, that you continue the work that you have begun and trailblazed with others as well. So my question is really a question. It's really just pretty much a statement. We're concerned about self-care now, man.
Yes.
I'm sure, all those appointments, all those engagements it took a lot of sacrifice from family time, a lot of sacrifice from personal time. Man, what are you going to do for you now, brother, now that you crossed the finish line, before you start this huge agenda of work that needs done in the Harrisburg area, Brother Rob?
All right. So, of course, we're doing this campaign, and you're working a regular 9-to-5 job, although my hours are not 9 to 5. They spread all over. And then you have whatever personal issues that are coming back and forth, and they weigh on you during the campaign. Now that we've made it through the primary, I'm not going to do something for myself necessarily, but my oldest daughter is getting married.
Awesome.
She's getting married the 29th. Thank you. and we're headed to Cabo, Mexico for her wedding.
That's awesome.
So I have a couple more days.
Sure.
We're going to do a little bit of grind here, with the 9 to 5, and a little more grind here on, thanking people, trying to figure out how we can set up the campaign. And then on Tuesday, I am zoning out of everything except for taking care of the kids and sitting in the sun and enjoying the wedding. So that's what's going to happen. And then as I come back into town, it's time to start building those bridges, make those connections, try to get on the same page with the mayor, with the other council members, so that when January does come around, it will come around quickly.
Yes, sir.
We're able to go, and it's not a ramp up period. And that's the one thing that I've learned from when I was on council before. It took me most of the year to really understand how to make it work.
Yes, sir.
It's a one of those things where from the outside you think you can just do it.
Yes, sir.
But once you get in there, you find that there's so many more moving pieces, so many things that you have to react and act upon that you didn't anticipate. So now that I had that history there, I think I'll be ready to go. Pretty much day one, and we'll start trying to help move Harrisburg forward.
Excellent. Thank you. Well said, man, and congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, Honorable Councilman Lawson, about the $1 housing program that you spoke of, would that be strictly for Harrisburg residents?
As far as my part of it, yes, but there might be a little bit more, available. So we're going to push this from Harrisburg. But if we're successful here, we have a great relationship with the Dauphin County Commissioners. So this might be something that you see spill outside of the Harrisburg boundaries. But the initial push is going to be for Harrisburg residents in the city of Harrisburg, owner-occupants. So you can't be an investor saying, hey, I want to spend $5 to buy 5 houses, and I'll put it together. We want to make sure that we're keeping families in the neighborhoods. And if that goes well, I plan to talk to the Dauphin County Commissioners to say, hey, what can we do to help people in the greater region, because they have a rather large land bank as well. So they have a lot of properties that we might be able to expand that program.
Yeah, the reason I was asking is because we already have a problem with absentee landlords. There's some blighted properties in Harrisburg that are causing an eyesore in many neighborhoods, and if we investigate the records, we find out that the owner lives someplace maybe in Florida or New York or some other place, outside of the city. And so that's why I was concerned that these houses that would be available for $1 would be for Harrisburg residents. And so I guess you already have taken that under consideration, and I'm sure that things will be done in a good way to benefit the residents of Harrisburg.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that when you first asked the question. That is true. They have to live in the property. So if they're coming from out of the state to do it, well, they're going to have to move in state to or in Harrisburg to actually own the home. If you have someone who decides that they no longer want to live in that house and they want to now turn it into an investment property, they will have restrictions of living in the home, and I believe it's going to be a 5-year term. But with those restrictions, if they decide that they now want to rent the property, they would have to refinance out of the program that we get them into to do it. So then, they can go on. The idea is to create generational wealth. So I don't want to have something where we say that no one could ever turn that house into a rental home, because we want to build up their families, but we also want you to stay here, right? We want to invite families to live here and own the piece of the city. So the goal is to make sure that we are creating a city that within that 5-year period you want to live in, so that you're not looking to move out to turn it into a rental, unless of course you're buying another home within the city and you're keeping ownership. And having local landlords is great, because we can reach out and touch you if we need to. The issue that we have is many of the landlords are out of state. We could fine them, we could put out arrest warrants and the like of that, but then it's up to will New York or will Florida or whatever state allow us to drive cross country to pick this person up for a nuisance property. Usually the answer is no. Generally that means that we just have warrants that sit out there indefinitely, and then the property eventually becomes sold at a tax sale, and eventually that property makes it to the redevelopment authority or Dauphin County's land bank, and then that's when it would be available to our people to purchase for $1.
Do you know if there's any penalties on the books where the absentee landlord can actually forfeit the property if they don't bring it up and keep it up to code, or if they don't take care of the surroundings?
So right now we don't have anything that I'm aware of to where we can take the property without going through the tax sale process. I would love to push an ordinance where we give those landlords who are neglecting their property, as we may have cited them several times, to say, hey, we need to get your property in line. If they are unwilling to rehab, renovate, rebuild, tear down, whatever that property, that they will just sign over the deed, give it to us, let us waive your let's waive your bills, let us waive your property bills, meaning like any type of citation they may have received, any type of warrant or fine or whatever that might be out there for them. We'll waive it, you give us the property, so that now we don't have to go through such a long process to try to get that property and get control of it. I would love to see something like that happen, and I'll push to look for something there. I believe there's also you could work in eminent domain, but that becomes a little bit tricky too, because of we're dealing with property rights, and
Yes.
owners of properties have a lot of rights. And it's very difficult to take away the rights of a property owner, as it should be. We don't want the government to be able to just snatch your home when you're working on it. But when you're not, and you're creating a public nuisance, we have to figure out a way that we can help the public be cured of that nuisance. So I look to exploring some methods through eminent domain if we cannot get that person on board, so that we're not again going through the process of going through a tax sale, hoping that another out-of-state landlord doesn't buy it at the tax sale, and then it coming to us. I want us to be able to be very proactive, to gather these problem properties before they catch on fire because of someone being unhoused and trying to stay warm and lighting a fire within that property, or kids going in there when they should be in school, and messing around. I want to make sure that we keep a nice, safe, clean Harrisburg, so that we can protect our residents and improve our value and expand our tax base.
Okay, great. Let's open up the telephone line. So Harrisburg residents, if you want to call in and speak with the Honorable Rob Lawson, now is your opportunity. The number is 717-889-7181. That's 717-889-7181. Let me ask you a question on a different subject. Does Harrisburg have a curfew ordinance?
Now that, I don't know if there's an actual acting curfew ordinance. I know that they are added from time to time when, we have either high rates of delinquency or something, but I don't know if there's a standing ordinance, and I'd have to look into that.
Okay. I visit my former city a lot, time to time, Atlantic City, New Jersey, and I know for the past 2 years they've had in effect a ordinance, I believe, for 17-year-olds and under, beginning at 10 p.m. At 10 p.m. there's a siren that blares throughout the city for a few moments, and so. Most of the crime, I guess, traditionally, it seems, happens with people in that age group, and so that might be something that Harrisburg City Council might consider if needed, you know. But I always often wondered about that. I think if they're 17 and under, will they have to be off the street? They have to be in a resident by 10 p.m. unless they are accompanied with a responsible adult. Okay.
Yeah, that's something that if it's not in place, we can always look into and maybe as needed enforce something like that. There are times when we start seeing a lot of high crime happening, and it may not always be that 17-year age group and under who is committing it, but man, we don't want them out there while it's happening. We don't want as many of the kids out there when people are leaving the bars drunk, and kids are playing around, not paying attention to what the street, has. Meaning, you have teenagers who may just be horse playing, and they may bounce out into the street, and guys are driving, and they're not paying attention. They're just going. There's many things that can happen that could hurt a young person during those hours. So if we have a time where things are heightened, then we definitely would want to have something like that available. But we also want other times of the year when we're gathering for the youth to be able to make it to things like, we have New Year's Eve, a ball drop. They're not able to go into bars, nor do we want them to be able to go into bars, but we want them to celebrate with our city and get out there. Like a 4th of July or something like that, if we're hosting, fireworks downtown and they end, a little bit after 9 and kids, again, we're not having like a heightened crime area. They want to walk around and be out and enjoying themselves. That's great. We'd love to see that. But hopefully we don't have that few who will come and make it to where we need to pull everybody back in because we're afraid of what can happen to the kids or what the kids could do themselves.
Okay. All right, folks, now's your time to call. Now's your time to call. Let me ask you, there's been a lot of talk against the non-resident police officers we have here in Harrisburg. There's been a lot of citizens saying that they're being disrespected and treated harshly by a lot of these police officers that live outside of the city. Is there any chance that Harrisburg may return to police officers being required to be residents of Harrisburg? Is there any chance of a residency requirement to be reinstated?
I would love to see that. I just don't know that that's in the cards right now. What's going to happen is in our next, I guess, negotiation with the union, we could bring that up, but I think that may be a difficult hill to climb. I do believe that is a problem, though, because we have police officers who don't know the residents of our city. And, if I'm just going to be any regular Joe, and let's say I don't have any ill intent in my heart, but if I walk up on a group of kids and it looks like they're up to no good and I don't know this group of kids, all I see are a bunch of kids that are a problem and hey, we got to stop this problem. But if I walk up to a group of kids and I'm like, oh, that's James from down the street. I know James. Let me talk to him and find out what's going on. Let's see what's really happening. I really do believe it's important that our police officers and EMS and teachers and the like of that live within the city. What I would like to see happen, so we may not be able to bring them back in forcibly, but can we make it, go back to housing? Can we make it easy for them to move into housing? There are grant programs that are out there specifically for police officers and teachers and EMS to live inside urban areas. I would love to see Harrisburg create something as well, maybe something that piggybacks, similar to what Dauphin County does for first-time home buyers, where they pay $5,000 towards your closing costs. Could Harrisburg have another, what they call it, like a HEROES program, like an extra $5,000 that they could get towards closing costs on purchasing a home, or maybe even keep it open as far as to tenants, because we want these people to live in the city limits. For our police, our firefighters, our EMS, our teachers, we say we will give you a bonus to move and live within the city, because it's very important that they know our children and that they know their neighbors. You know, at the end of the day, they work for us, right?
Absolutely.
Would your boss take it if you went into work and started disrespecting them and pushing them around and say, hey, you know, now that we've done that, I'm going to show up to work tomorrow?
It wouldn't last too long.
You wouldn't last too long. But because of this disconnect between, you know, us as residents and the police officers, they forget that, yes, they work for all of us, even though the ones of us that they may need to arrest. You know, they can't say that every interaction is the fault of the police, but every interaction should be treated with respect, regardless of what the outcome of that interaction is. Even if they're taking him to jail, that person should have been treated with respect from the time you pulled in to the time you had to book them, and that's, you know, that's what we're not seeing.
Okay. Chris, do we have any comments, any questions?
No, sir, not at the moment.
Okay, well, Mr. Lawson, we want to thank you, first of all, for owning up to what you said. You said after the election you would make a return visit here to the Ron Chapel Show, and I know that the weather outside is sort of inclement, but we still thank you for persevering and being a person of your word. And so we appreciate you taking time. We don't want to keep you. I'm pretty sure you still have a lot of planning to do, especially for your trip to Mexico, and we wish you, that's Mexico, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we pray you traveling mercies. We hope that you and your family get safely there, have a wonderful time, and a safe return back here to Harrisburg, because there's a lot of work waiting for you to do once you reassume your seat. Now let me ask you, there are certain, what do you call them, committees or departments that council members chair?
Yes.
Which is it called a committee or a department?
So I
what
guess
is it called,
yeah,
first?
I would I'm trying to think if I remember the actual term, but I looked at it as a committee. But you would be the department chair, really.
Okay,
it's the department chair.
Yeah. Which department did you chair the last time you served?
I was over Public Works.
Public Works. Okay.
So I'll be happy wherever they assign me. Of course, I have an affinity for housing. That's just in my blood. But regardless, I'll work however I'm needed. And I do want to chuckle, because I think the invitation that I received from you for today's show was prior to the election being even close to being called. So I want to thank you for prophetically saying, I want to see you on Thursday, because I remember thinking in the back of my mind, well, maybe you don't want to see me. I may not win. But he set out the invite and said, hey, let's get together on Thursday, even before the public let me know that I'd be coming back. And I appreciate all the support. Always been a friend of the show, and I'm glad that the show has been a friend to me as well. Guys, I think you do a great job here, and you give the community what they need. So thanks a lot.
Okay, well, thank you for being here, and don't be surprised if we call on you to see if you're available to come in and host a show.
All right. As I can, I will definitely do that.
Okay, Chris, we have that theme, and we want to thank the Honorable Robert Lawson, Harrisburg City Councilman. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I appreciate this.
Okay, we appreciate you being here.
All right.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. I appreciate it, gentlemen.
All right, okay, have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, folks, we salute the Honorable Rob Lawson, Harrisburg City Councilman. for being here today. We thank you that are taking the time to view the show. I want to thank Pastor Chris Thomas, the engineer. We're going to cut the show short today. We had other guests that said that they would be here. We're honored to have had Councilman Rob Lawson, but you guys are not calling. You guys are not even texting messages about the election, and so we're not going to belabor the time here. And so this will be a short presentation today, and hopefully we'll see you again next Thursday. I want to thank our street reporter, Khaldun Scoop Rashid, for his fine report. I want to thank Pastor Chris Thomas, the engineer, and we're wishing you a good day. Drive safe out there. It is rather wet. Okay, have a good day. There he is.